Hi, my name is Carly Hempa. I'm a first-year teaching student at UIS, and today I'm going to speak on the subject of accelerated learning and cognition. Whether or not cognition and learning can be accelerated has been up for debate for several years. This week we reviewed many different resources within our assignment and our textbook that really just showed us the difference in the possible options for this. The very first resource that we reviewed would be the Baby Einstein Not So Smart After All. This was about the Baby Einstein videos that we've all watched over the years and how it's supposed to increase your vocabulary, but it's proven to actually decrease these children's vocabulary by kind of bogging down their brain and overstimulating it. It really just has an opposite effect of what it's actually supposed to be doing. The next one is the Your Baby Can Read. This is a program where you can buy kits for your children that expose them to new words, language skills, things for them to interact with that are supposed to take place during the development window before it closes. Then there's Brainetics. Brainetics is a program designed by Mike Beister to help students use their brains in a more effective manner when it comes to memorization and math. He's a self-taught man who created this step-by-step program that can be purchased online for students of all ages. It's great because it's a step-by-step work at your own pace. And then lastly, there was the Super Brain Yoga video, which I found to be the most interesting. It was a totally different approach than any of the other things we discussed. It's 5 minute a day yoga, essentially, where you are grabbing your earlobes and stimulating or opening both the left and the right side of the brain, which allows for you to learn and retain information in a different manner. It's been proven to take a C student to be an A student. It's really just, it's an interesting way to look at it. Everything you do is going to have pros and it's going to have cons. As far as assessing the pros and cons for these particular things, as far as the very first thing goes, which was the Einstein videos, the pro would be the teaching the vocabulary, the introducing of these words to young children. It's really supposed to increase their vocabulary. The second one would be the kits for your children, the Your Baby Can Read kits. This would bring new words and objects into the baby's life at a young age, which could be very helpful. Babies hear constantly, but in order for them to recognize words, seeing them is something that could be very beneficial. The third one would be the Brainetics, which allows the ability for the brain to be used more effectively in math and memorization. This man has created a program for students to kind of go at their own pace, which is always very helpful for students when they're learning such things. The last one would be the YouTube video about the brain yoga, Super Brain Yoga. The pros are it's drug-free, costs nothing, and it essentially is timeless when 5 minutes a day has been proven to make such a difference. In general, the pros for this type of thing would be it provides independence for a child. When you give the child the ability to learn things, they create their own sense of independence. It gives the child a basis for education. Starting education very young has been proven to help them throughout their school years. It provides just a base level of the education. And then lastly, it allows them to explore new things. Babies come out curious. They come out always wanting to touch new things and see new things. And all of these things provide that for them. On the opposing side, the cons would have to be for the Baby Einstein is the fact that it's not really teaching vocabulary, but it's decreasing their vocabulary in such a way that it's noticeable, and that scientists have actually looked into this and shown that the vocabulary, every time a new word's introduced, they're actually losing vocabulary according to the study that I read. The second one for the Your Baby Can Read, it brings almost too many things in at that young of an age. It's very important to stimulate your child's mind, but not overstimulate. And when you bring in words at such a young age that they can't understand it, it then becomes useless in a way. The third would be the Brainetics, which it's hard. Not all brains are the same, so something like that for math and memorization is not going to be as effective as something that is an all-around thing such as the yoga that could potentially help every brain. And then for the last one, which is the yoga, is that it is a physical activity and that not everybody has the ability to do a physical activity, which essentially makes that pointless. Those of us that are able to do physical activity, it is such a powerful thing to do. Overall cons in a general subject would be the mental exhaustion. For young children, when you are constantly putting new things in their head and overstimulating it, it becomes very mentally exhausting for them. The varied abilities that you're going to see with students who have been taught at such a young age and students who haven't been taught at all is going to be almost detrimental to that student, because you're going to have them at an accelerated rate where their peers might not be there, and it's going to be not stimulating to them in the classroom. It's going to be hard for them to focus on things that they already know. And then another one is that everybody's different. Not everybody's going to understand the words that are brought to them at such a young age, where some might pick up on it at a very early age in life. And then lastly, the fact that all of these things, except for the yoga, are video. It has been proven time and time again that videos and stimulating screen time things are not good for children. They overstimulate and bog down their brain to the point where they become mind numb. So in conclusion to this, I would like to say that I disagree with the fact that cognitive and learning acceleration can happen. Our textbook discusses several different stages of the brain and the development that is meant to actually take place in this time of development. Though they market these things, there have been several research studies shown that they are not effective and they aren't good for children to overstimulate their brains and learn things at such a young age. And then to rush these stages of development could potentially hurt your children. So that is why I choose to disagree with cognitive and learning acceleration. Thank you.